So, we'll go ahead and get started. Got some resources that we're going to share here.
Okay.
So today the purpose is to internalize. We're not going to internalize the full unit. We're just going to do the mid-cycle assessment, and we're going to do a unit overview for unit 5. So I'll go ahead and give you the. This one only has half of the unit, so we're going to focus on half of the unit.
Perfect.
So we're going to do a unit overview, and so there's some highlighters there. So at this point, so like I said, so we're gonna internalize half the unit to understand what success looks like across all learners, and then we're gonna see how we can support the learners. We'll go ahead and you'll take the mid-cycle assessment just to kind of we dissect it by objectives, by TEKS, and then we'll kind of work backwards.
Okay.
So if you have any questions, so at this time, just kind of go ahead. I'll give you a couple minutes to kind of look at the. That's only half of it. So it's up until November the 19th. Okay. So I know we already started, so we have a couple of. It's about 3 weeks worth.
Okay.
Okay. So we're in the first week, and right before the Thanksgiving break, we should be able to finish it. So yeah, you might go ahead and look over it, see what the learning objectives are.
Okay.
And then there are some TEKS that we're gonna kind of discuss. Okay. So I like how you did that. It was fairly quick. That's good. And I noticed you were highlighting verbs, so that's good. All right. So what does this unit? Which TEKS does this unit focus on?
4.2A and B, and 4.2H and E. On 4.8 C.
Okay.
Of the term model.
So when you're talking about 4.28 and 4.2b, that has to do with expanded notation.
Yes,
Okay.
Yes.
Decimals up to expanded notation. So that's going to be the first week. And then we dive into 4.2f, which that one has to do with
comparing decimals.
So on that one, we're comparing decimals up to the hundreds. Good. So we do that for about 3 days, and then we get into 4.4a and 4.8c. That one has to do with
adding and subtraction, addition and subtraction with decimals.
Okay, so on those.
And also in like problems, which is like money. When you say money.
Okay. So we're gonna add and subtract decimals, and we're gonna incorporate money into that. And then the last one that's on here, I know that there's one on the actual assessment that it's a recurring one, so it's a readiness one, which is there's actually 2 of them. We have 4.4a, which is adding and subtracting whole numbers, and then we also have 4.5d, which is perimeter and area. So so the actual exam, mid-cycle exam has 12 questions. It's got 2 questions for 4.2b, 4.2 questions for 4.2e, which is representing decimals. 4.2f, comparing and ordering decimals, has 2 questions. We'll have 4.2h has 2 questions for decimals on a number line. And then we have the 2 that are for perimeter and area. So we'll go ahead and look at this one in a minute. I'll give you some time to kind of go over it, look over any misconceptions and kind of make an exemplar of how you want the students
So,
for it to look like.
to solve it, yeah.
All right, so before we start on this, let's see why this unit matters. What should the students be able to walk away understanding or being able to do?
After,
Yeah, once you've taught the unit or the mid-level, the mid-cycle unit, what should they be able to do?
they will be able to compare decimals, to represent them using different models such as pictorial model, number line, and concrete models, which is the base and flux image, I think.
Mhm.
And also be able to do the expanded notation, representing the decimals up to the hundreds, and be able to add and subtract properly
Okay.
the decimals.
Now, you said something earlier, how will they be able to connect to the real world by, using all these?
Yes, using also, represent using money.
So through money,
real
they'll be able to make
experiences,
connections to the real world. Okay,
experiences.
perfect. All right. So, what knowledge should the students, well, actually, how will this unit build on the last one?
The last one was the perimeter. Like connected to the last one.
Will it have any connections? Sometimes it might
Como
not.
es lo que no,
Yeah.
no entendí. I didn't
Okay.
understand that.
So the other one was, your last unit was about basically
Area and perimeter.
perimeter and area. So you really won't have much of a connection on that one. Okay, no
Not
problem.
really. Maybe use the steps, like use, like the basic skills, like steps to solve it. Maybe
Okay.
that's the only connection that I can see. And knowing like there's two steps and also like the real life experiences.
Okay.
That's a connection.
So before we start working on the actual mid-cycle assessment, just before you think about some things that you might have to reteach or some ideas that that the
Mhm.
students might need to connect,
Mhm.
and think about some misconceptions that they might encounter. Okay. So at this point, we'll go ahead and complete the. Hello. Okay, can you take the info? I'm meeting with the teacher right now, and then I'll call the parent back to do that. Thank you, bye-bye. Okay, sorry about that. So we're gonna go ahead and complete the unit assessment. It's the mid-cycle assessment. We're gonna focus on the questions that are aligned to that. So the 12 questions are, for the most part, there are the 2 questions that are perimeter and area from the previous one. We don't have to do those. We're gonna focus on these 10, and we'll do those. And then I'll give you some scratch papers. Use their math strategies. Any annotations that you want the students to do, and for them to fully explain, just like you would expect from your students.
Okay.
So we're basically providing an exemplar for them. Okay. So I'll go ahead and give you about 12 minutes. There's the actual assessment, and then so it's gonna be about 10 questions.
No me acuerdo. No.
And you'll notice like it tells you the answer in
Mhm.
red,
Yeah.
and it tells you which teak it's aligned with.
Mm-hmm. Very nice.
So on that one, they're comparing and ordering the decimals.
Yeah. Almost done.
That's the preliminary one, you don't have to do that one.
Okay, yeah. This is a test. Mhm. Son un chorro.
I know.
Eso no,
No.
eso tampoco, ¿verdad? Ah, no, eso sí, ¿no?
And then,
Una más y ya.
yeah, just do this, don't worry about that one, yeah.
Okay,
That one, this one. And see, look how, yeah, how much time do they get? How much time do you usually give them to do 12 problems like this?
Pues es que esto los dejamos hasta como queremos que hagan las estrategias. Normalmente en midterm no dejamos la hora o así.
They do that?
Yeah.
About,
So
sounds
they
about
can-
right, yeah.
Yeah, so they can show all their work and everything. Okay, so number one.
That'll work, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the purpose of doing this is so that it's gonna help us surface or understand what mastery is gonna look like for the students, right? It's gonna look like for them. And it's also gonna help you understand where they may struggle. So any misconceptions, that way we can anticipate them and then, help them beforehand. So we're gonna go ahead and review the work. We're gonna see where, focus on what are some strategies or models that made your thinking visible, and what are some things that are non-negotiable that you want them, like, hey, for this problem, I need this. So think about the last unit that we worked on when they were doing the multiplication and division. What was some of the things that you wanted to see from them? From that one, you wanted them to do what?
The books, the model, the
Which one?
tables,
The T tables. You wanted them to do the G,
GT.
the GET, the GET. So all those things you wanted them in order for them to show their thinking. So same thing here. So we'll just kind of quickly go by each problem and think about some things where there might be some misconceptions from them, and then think about some things that are non-negotiable. Hey, for this type of problem, I need to see this from them. Okay. So for example, this first one, this is 4.2b, right? So on this one, 4.2b is what is that one again?
Represent notation, expanded notation.
Expanded notation, right?
Numerals.
Okay, so they're doing expanded notation. So where are some misconceptions that you think, they might not understand this, and then what is a non-negotiable? What do you want to see from them?
Okay, the misconception will be like how to properly write the decimals between the hundreds and the tenths, and with the 0-1. And the non-negotiable is that they need to replace value shirt, but not only make it, but also label it with the value, like hundreds represent 0.01 and so on, and be able to understand the pattern in case they don't remember the order, like be able to represent that every time it's to the adding one a zero and subtracting a zero kind of there.
Perfect, so we need to see the place value
Yes.
chart. And the misconception is, sometimes they might even forget, the decimal.
Yeah, and they do the regular.
And then they need to, do the expanded.
Especially when they have the base 10 blocks, they
Mhm.
might also confuse them.
Perfect, I like that response, the base 10 blocks, okay, so for
Yeah.
that one, they might do that. Alright, so we look at this one's 4.4A, 4.4A is just adding and subtracting? Okay, adding and subtracting of decimals. So looking at that one, what is some misconception that can occur from there?
Yeah, the subtraction factor. Because like for me, it was kind of confusing the way like how to regrouping. So for me, it would be easier to transform into money and just do the decimals based off something. But yeah, the regrouping part, because it was a two-step, but also not only a two-step, they have to add decimals, but they have to subtract from zero. So
Right.
like whole numbers.
Subtracting across zeros, right? So
Uh-huh.
they have to be able to set it up that way, set up the
Uh-huh.
problem with zeros. And they also have to do what with the decimals? Make sure they are
The
aligned,
align.
okay? And then a non-negotiable here would be,
The diagram, the strict diagram, so they can be able to see the steps, and
Perfect.
also like maybe replace value chart in order for them to do like subtract correctly. Like normally
align
we
them like this.
label the lines on, even though it's a subtraction, but make the lines then to know they have to follow the row kind of thing.
Perfect.
And yeah, that regrouping, because I was kind of, and also like don't step. Like I skip it to the end because I was getting frustrated with so maybe they will do it the same thing.
if
So.
you're getting frustrated, imagine them
Yeah.
sometimes. So you have to put yourself in their shoes, like, ooh, what can I do to
Yeah.
make this easier for them to provide those visuals, those supports?
Because on my mind I was changing it to cent and how much do you need to go to the next cent kind of thing. So maybe they will using the money or using the coins as manipulatives.
And that's a good way to hey, this could, instead of being 50, transfer it to dollars, they know, decimal 00, and then they can subtract, right? All right, so on this one, so the first thing that they needed to do before was
label it like
identify the actual
okay.
picture, right?
Yes.
So that one was, I guess this one's a fairly easy one, 4.2E.
No, that much, because when it comes to how to name it, like with the word form, they have trouble with the word form.
Well, yes, you're right. So that's where the
Especially-
misconception might be. They could probably do it like this, where they have to identify it
That's
as what it is, right? It's 7700s, but when, like you say, when they have to put it into word form, that's where they might have trouble. So what do you think will help them with that?
Maybe write it ahead of time, like try to write what you're looking for, like this one on a word form, and then look for it, like make your own response. And also, as I did, like write it down what it's telling you. Like on the A is 77, so write your 77 something, so you know what you're looking for.
Okay. And remember that decimal, when you're going over vocabulary, that's the word. Which word is that?
Decimal.
Yeah.
Point with.
Instead of saying decimal, a lot of they need to know the word. They say and. So
Oh,
for
and
example,
in
if
Spanish they don't say it, so that's why it's kind of
it's a little
confusing.
different. Okay.
Because on Spanish.
But it's like la
Bueno,
palabra
sometimes
y.
sí dice y,
y.
a veces sí dice y,
So,
pero para referirse.
$2 y
Y 24.
24 centavos.
Bueno, sí.
So it would be the same thing.
Sí,
In
porque ya
English,
ves
it's
que
the word and.
En español would be a little bit more confusing because, with the numbers we also say so 77 y 77, like también confunde.
Ya está ahí, yes.
Ajá.
Okay.
Sí.
But in general, like they should be able to do, separate the whole
The whole
number from the decimal, right?
Yes.
So they'll state the whole number,
Sí.
the
Y
decimal is
44.
and then whatever the decimal is, right?
44 centésimos.
So- So if this was a whole
Yeah,
number,
for
it would
sure.
be 3 and 77.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things that will kind of help them understand, yes, when it's in words. Okay, so we're not doing that one over here. This one, 4.2F, they were comparing and ordering. So if you look at the picture model there,
Mm-hmm.
what did you do to help?
Pues like in between, en medio, ¿verdad? Saber lo que like which number is in between. So maybe using a number line.
So you used the number line,
A
so
number line and like kind of, well, I was telling them like find your row, so como tu calle,
mhm.
like it's not gonna be like outside of your street kind of thing. So be able to put it, and know like, cause sometimes a misconception will be like the number, like it is .20, .58, so it's not gonna pass that
So
number.
instead of saying
And they're gonna
0.58, we just say 58 hundredths.
Hundreds,
58
okay, bueno, 58, bueno, pues
Yeah, en
58
español, yes.
centésimas.
And then they have to understand the place value, exactly, so they have to understand 5/10, 6/10, 8/10. So that'll help them understand, oh, this has more value than that one, this one has more value than that one. Okay, so we need to do that one. Okay, on this one right here, what do you see on that?
Be able to understand that that is, the value is 10.
Okay.
So since it doesn't have the whole number, they have to understand that their whole is gonna be 10, so they can be able to label it properly.
Yeah, they're gonna have a lot of fun with this one, because first of all, they have to use it's on a number line,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not labeled for them, so they have to kind of label it, right?
Yes.
So they need to understand that, hey, this is 1/10, 2/10, 3/10, and it's skip counting by 1/10 until they get to the whole number,
Mm-hmm.
okay?
And then the fact that it's not giving, I don't know, it's not this one, because the other one is giving you a point in between, so that's one.
Mm-hmm,
O sea, aparte de que te da 100, is gonna, they mean tenths is gonna give you 100.
Right.
So yeah, that's gonna be
So,
complicated.
they need to understand the pattern. There's 13, 14, there's no 15, so they need to identify, hey, 15 goes here,
Mm-hmm.
and then what the decimal goes in between. So in between 15 and 16 is 15 and 5/10, right? So they need to be able to skip count,
Mm-hmm.
okay? So that's, I like how you did that part, that you were jumping in by tenths.
Mm-hmm.
So the only misconception would be that this is where it's kind of trying to trick them, because it's not
Yeah.
putting one,
So
so
they
they
might
need
be
to.
tend to use a 14 since that's the previous number like
Right.
next to the K, so that's why.
So
If they
that's,
don't label it, they might have it wrong.
and that's where the misconception would be.
Mhm.
They'll go with 14 instead of
Mhm.
15 because it's not there, so they need to be able to identify that. Okay. So that's one that they might do. This one is 4.2E, has to do with money, right? So they have to match the money
And pictorial model.
with the pictorial model, right? So what is a non-negotiable for you here?
Labeling, yeah, like.
They have to annotate, they have to
Annotate.
label, right? So they have to label, so I like the way you did, you know, you were able to label each picture model
And the money first.
and then match it to the money. So they need to understand that this is 2 whole dollars.
Uh-huh.
I only see 2 whole dollars in this one and in that one. And then they have to match the decimal or the tenths.
Mhm.
Okay. So that's that one's one that they should be, once they're able to match, they should be able to do this problem correctly. Alright, about 10 more minutes, okay. So on this one, what are some things that you see on these?
On number 8, like we need the place value assurance so they can be able to identify it and also highlight the place value on the actual numbers, or using the complete group list of putting out the numbers on a number line would be good. And for the other one, that's what I was telling you, like even though it's like 0.6, this one is 0.6, well yeah, like 13 and 6500, and on the number line, like be able to identify that it's gonna be more than the 16, because it only, it gives you I mean the 13.6 decimals, the, ¿cómo se llaman? Se me olvidaron tenths.
The tenths,
Décimas en español.
right?
Y aparte que va, So
they need to be able to find, hey, this is where 13 is. There's 12, there's 14,
and
but
then,
there's no 13 for them. So they need to understand, ooh, half between 12 and 14 is right here. This is the point where it's
and
half.
also even though it's like 0.6 and it's not 0.6, it's 0.65, so 5 times, so ahí donde que no lo pongan en donde es el otro número.
And they did two just like that one, so keep that one in mind.
Sí.
So 4.28.
Sí, porque en el otro era hasta el punto 6, pero luego y ahora quería la mitad entre el punto
Mhm.
6 y punto 7, like be able to know their intervals and to know like the midpoint in between.
So how would you help them understand this type of problem? What would you do to help them so they can master this problem right here?
Pues they will have to like label everything, ¿verdad? Like after, so be able to label
Mm-hmm.
and also like, you know, yeah, pues no sé.
So no, you're right.
Yeah.
They're gonna have to annotate. They're gonna have to label.
Uh-huh.
Hey, this is where 13 is.
Yeah,
Once they're able to find 13 on the number line.
and no, like it's not only since we're doing the intervals, it's not exactly on that point. It's
Mhm.
not because it's giving me the 0.6, but we don't want the 0.6, so that's gonna be a crazy answer.
Right. So this is up to hundreds. So it's skip counting, but it's not just
Yeah.
13.6. It's not exact. So
Mhm.
it's a good one for them to kind of
Mhm.
experience. You know. So we
We
gotta
started
give them
out
plenty
the
examples.
way.
And then the last one over here. So on this one, what are they doing?
Uh,
So they got 4
comparing,
picture models
yeah,
and they're
from least to greatest. So what we're doing is least, define what least means, and be able to know the vocabulary, of course.
perfect.
And since we're making a list, we're using our place value short, and labeling like least is gonna be our number 1, and our greatest is gonna be our number 4 according to the total, and then make their own list as well.
Mm-hmm.
Might help.
Okay. So what did you do here?
I label them and then I create my own list. Yeah, like I put which one was the least according to the.
Okay. But first you made a place
Yeah, this is the place value short.
value chart. Yeah.
Yeah, place value short, and then accommodate like, and then I make my own list based on that.
Now the only thing that, since they have the numbers there, what is one of the misconceptions that might occur with this one compared to that one, per se? This is what?
8/10,
Tenths, and this is
100.
hundreds. So the misconception might be that sometimes they're gonna wanna put that 8 over here, so,
Instead of
right,
so yes.
so one of the things you could do is you can
80.
make it as
Yeah, because
800.
they yes, but that's why they were asking me. So today we were doing the same thing. So, but I also wanted them to know like this one it can be 8, but it represents 80.
Right, so 8/10ths, right?
Uh-huh.
Not 800ths.
Uh-huh.
So they need to understand the difference between,
Sí, pero
place value, right?
and be
And
able
what
to know
helps
that
them-
it will have the 0 and we will not have the 0,
right,
even though and it represents 80, even though it doesn't have the 0.
right, it still represents that, good. And then what helps them with that will be the alignment.
Yeah, that's what I explained, and thank you that we come to this because I wasn't sure because it's the first time that I'm teaching decimals in my whole life.
Yeah.
Bueno, like in a whole lesson, like como mi clase. So that's what I was explaining. I was like, okay, but we have, if it's next to the decimal, we know it's a tenth.
Right,
Like, porque está enseguida del punto, por eso tú te das cuenta, aunque te digan 8 y te quieren confundir, ya sabes que este vale 80, porque si vemos la imagen, 10, 20, 30,
Right.
¿verdad? Pero lo puedes poner en 0 porque sabes que no tiene ninguna centésima, o lo puedes dejar así, pero ya sabes que representa 80. That's what I was explaining, but I wasn't sure. I was like,
no, that's perfect, explain like that
because
as
they
long as they
asked me several
understand it.
times, yeah.
And then I like to use visuals as much as
Uh-huh.
possible, so if they look at the actual picture models,
yes.
they're there, they can see which one está
Uh-huh.
relleno más, right? Which one
Yes,
is
that's
shaded
what I was
more.
also using with Galileo, and some students they need like to
Those
know,
visuals.
add those visuals, and she understands, she made a 80 by herself,
Yeah.
pero
Oh, that's
con
good.
ayuda, porque le estaba diciendo, guiándola un poquito, because she was absent yesterday, and we started this yesterday.
Okay.
But like
And these are good because they're gonna reinforce
Yes.
what they're thinking, they're gonna reinforce, it's
And
gonna reassure them, like, oh
they-
yeah, I'm right.
using this and this help them, And also, I told them that I did the opposite. Like, our first writing was about this, so I choose the opposite, the greatest to least, and they were able to identify like that was my problem.
Mhm.
So,
Okay.
que ese fue mi error. So,
Okay, so some of the some of the misconceptions that might occur that
so
will
the
help
opposite,
is using a place value chart, making sure that the decimals are aligned, clarifying the difference between hundredths and tenths, making sure that they understand those differences on all these problems. All right.
And number what you're gonna be first on your list, right? So
Mhm.
if it's gonna be least or greatest, so you know that's gonna be number one, so you don't do backwards.
Okay,
You know?
perfect. So now that we've reviewed the TEKS, we've got the learning objectives, across the unit. We kind of see what skills need to develop and some of the things that we need to build over time. This is going to set up for weekly planning more so than anything. But I do have a couple things that I do want to show you.
Okay.
Now you kind of get an idea of what mastery, what you want from them, and what mastery is going to look like. So I'm going to let you keep that. But I wanted to share two documents with you. This one, first of all, is like just the academic vocabulary. So of course, you have the place value chart. Make sure that you're reinforcing the vocabulary ones, tens, hundreds. If you have it as a visual for them, if you create an anchor chart,
yeah,
that
they
would help.
have individual anchor charts for them.
And if you have the individual ones, this could be like the individual ones. This one's for
Yes.
expanded notation.
Okay.
Go over that. Make sure that you front load that. Whenever they're comparing.
Yeah, they have it on the poster as well.
If they have it on the poster.
I print the first two problems for them. It's the ones that work, so that's their exemplar.
Okay.
And on the poster I add like those cues, like we're doing comparing, so I add the comparing symbols because I know some of them still confuse them, the greater than and less than symbols.
Oh, okay, so on
So
those.
that's why.
And then this last one just has to do with the previous units, just simple words like sum, difference, and equation. But yeah, this is one of the things that I want to share. Just keep reinforcing the academic vocabulary.
Yeah.
And then this document, this is actually from the Lead Forward.
Okay.
So it focuses on these three TEKS, and it has to do with how to annotate. What I like about it is, so it has star level questions
Okay.
from previous years that are aligned with the ones. So you have these, you can use those, and then you can kind of that way when you're assessing the students, see how they're progressing. So whenever I go do a spot just to go see how you're doing, you can use these type of questions. And it does have this. So I like this because it's got two different, it's gonna show you what does so kind of like what you were doing earlier, what you were doing. What would a learner, to show mastery, these are some suggestions here. Accurately use base 10 blocks. You even said that earlier.
Yeah, because they get confused with the
Justifies comparisons using place value language. So like you said earlier, on 5/10 is greater than 4/10. So that those kind of things. And I like this part too because it talks about the common misconceptions, and then it gives you strategies to address those misconceptions. So like earlier, we were talking about some of the students will ignore place value, or they'll forget to fill in the zeros.
Yes.
Like you said on that problem with money, they'll forget to fill in. So it tells you if they forget to fill in the zeros, teach the students to round and estimate before solving to check for reasonableness. If they're forgetting place values, use the 10 by 10 grids to shade. So they give you strategies to prevent those misconceptions. They'll also give you accommodations. These are for your EB students. So here's some, so for example, chunking the information. And then it gives you like a focus. Understand and organize decimals to the hundreds. So like you said, they have to use that place value chart. So these are good accommodations for those and for them to label. Use the visual aids. Here's some examples that you can use if needed. Sentence starters. So if you're doing your turn and talks, any of those MRSs, here's some good sentence starters for them to use. And I also like this one because, you know, it talks about some of the different English terms. They're also used in Spanish Cognate. So if you use compare
Yes.
decimos, comparar los décimas.
Sí,
So you can
you
use
need
some of
that for
these.
their journals.
You need
Porque
this for
pues
the-
we do it in Spanish, pero when they come to CERN or in
And they,
Excel,
they see
they see the
this
English
vocabulary as well, right?
And
So,
and
that way
also
they're
for
exposed
partner
to
work,
it.
I'm using the English part for partner work.
and it gives you the student-friendly definitions,
Okay,
so
that's
it
good.
gives you that. And the last thing I like about it is, so it gives you a weekly at a glance, so how it is on this document, just kind of breaks it down with the learning objective, the DOL and the TEKS and how they're aligned. So I'm gonna go ahead and give this to you, kind of look over it, and then, let's see, we're out of time. But I like that document, just kind of look over it. We'll, if you have any questions about it, now that you have for the next 3 weeks, we can, I can go in there, kind of look at how they're doing. And then at the end of 3 weeks, they're gonna have that assessment that they're gonna do, and hopefully it kind of matches what you just did, so.
Perfect.
But, now we're set up for this. The next step will be to, plan and actually teach, so we're good to go. All right, if you need anything, let me know.
Okay,
All right.
guys.
Thank you, muchas gracias.